So it's that time of year again. As you guys know, 3 times a year, every year, I go through all of the designer releases up until that point of that year and let you guys know my favorite picks of that year at that point. I did my one in April. I did my one in like July. And those were top 5 lists. But now that we had probably like 35 fragrances released this year, I had to do a top 10. I always do that at the end of the year anyway, even though this is the second year technically. So I'm going to go through today and let you guys know my personal top 10 fragrance releases, designer edition of the year. So without further ado, let's get it. What's good, my great smelling dudes? Welcome back to my channel. You guys already know my name is Randy, aka Fragrance Dude. If you are new to my channel, then I apologize. You don't already know that. Make sure that you subscribe if you like my content. Everybody else, hit that bell if you want my notifications sooner. Hit the like, throw your brother on the algorithm, and comment below and let me know what fragrances are your favorites of the year. Again, we're doing top 10 designers of 2023. With that said, I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer, even though I shouldn't have to. There's always that 1 or 2 people. This is my personal opinion on my top 10 this year. I think 2023 was a very bad year as far as fragrances. Not very bad, but in comparison to previous years, I looked at it, and even my number 1 fragrance this year wouldn't have been in my top 5 of 2022 or 2021, and probably 2020, but I didn't look back that far. But yes, it wouldn't be in my top 5. With that said, I do like a lot of these fragrances. We had a lot of fragrances released. So again, in April, I did my first top 5 video. I think it was Boston Scent Magnetic, won it back then. Back in July, I did my second one. And then at the end of the year, I always do my top 10. But I'm not going to keep you guys here. I'm going to get straight into it because we have a lot of freaking fragrances to go over because there was a lot of releases this year. And again, personal opinion. So I understand my number 1 might be not even your top 10. My number 10 might not be your number 1. I'm going to also give you guys 4 runners up to let you guys know and also why I didn't choose them. But first, I want to go through and let you know the ones that are not in my top 10. First, Prada Ocean Eau de Parfum. At first, I actually really enjoyed that fragrance, but there was something about it that my wife didn't like, and I actually agreed. It's still a good fragrance, just not for me. One at EDP, terrible. CH Passion cannot be on this list because I have not tried it. I will be trying it soon. Victory Elixir. It's just, you guys know I don't like really strong fragrances. I never have, and while it smells really good, and I did get compliments when I owned it, I sold it to one of my subscribers. Boss Bottled Pacific smells good, but it does not deserve to be on the top 10 list. YSL EDP Intense. I just found the fact that it's in its line, it's my least favorite because it's just a really fantastic opening with a basic woody aromatic version of the line. Probably the most wearable of the line, but with that said, I'd rather go with the EDT. Phantom Parfum, no, I don't like that. 212 VIP I Love New York. It's right here. Really good fragrance as far as just very easy wear. It has coffee in it. It's kind of like Polo Red Parfum without the huge absinthe note. So I actually quite enjoy that. Speaking of Polo Red Parfum, that won't be on this top 10 list. It's my worst release of the year. That's my opinion again. Explorer Platinum. It's good smelling, but it's just, to me, it's just kind of basic. Aqua de Jo Parfum. I'm not going to put an Aqua de Jo on a top 10. I mean, the only one that for me deserves it is the Aqua de Jo Absolu. I think the rest of them smell good. I just wouldn't put them in my top 10 because I find them just simple. With that said, Light Blue, Stronger With You Amber. Again, that one's growing on me, so maybe next year it could be in my top 10 from this year, but not right now. It's just, there's other fragrances that are better than it. Eternity Reflections, I don't like that. I do like CK Reflections, though, even though it lasts like an hour and a half. Gucci Guilty Elixir, I really don't like that. It's kind of like the new age Uomo mixed with like a Mouage Reflection or something like that. It's powder of florals, cardamom. It's not for me. Chrome Parfum, while originally I really loved this fragrance and it's still really nice, it's not in the top 10 anymore. I don't know. It just, as I wore it, it became a little bit more chrome. Like, not top 10, but still good. With that said, Pasha Cartier Noir Absolu. This one right here. Well, I enjoy the scent. A couple of my moderators told me a certain note that they found very strange in the dry down, and then I wore it like 3 days ago, and I was like, yeah, I kind of get that now, so it's not my top 10. Bulgari Man Rain Essence. It's actually kind of nice. It's like musky tea, stuff like that, but it doesn't last very long. It's like an hour fragrance, so I'm not putting that on my top 10. And then we have Cool Water Oceanic Edition, which is, no, not good. With that said, I will also let you know the top cheapie of the year. It could be CK1 Reflections if it lasted longer, but no, it is Hugo Jeans. Hugo Jeans is the best cheapie, not including clones. I don't care about clones for that. The best designer cheapie is going to be Hugo Jeans. It's a very, very good fragrance. It has lime and stuff like that in it. Very, very good fragrance. If you haven't tried it out, you can buy it for like 30 bucks. It is super wearable. It's even better than reversed. With that said, let's get into my 4 runners-up. So the first runner-up here, you guys are going to, the runners-up aren't in any order, but you guys are not going to understand. It's just, this is another one of those. It smells good, but it gives me a headache because it's too strong, just like Invictus Victory Elixir. This is LHOMME Elixir. At first, I didn't like it, and then I liked it, but it was too strong for me, and I actually think I might have put this like top of the video at that one point in time. But now that it's got to the cold weather and I finally got to wear it a few times, it is a very nice, heavy Tonka fragrance. With that said, it gives me a headache and it's too strong. And again, wife doesn't like it. So, I mean, I still like the fragrance. I'm just not going to get wears out of it because it gives me a headache. It's like in the same realm as, it has the powdery vanillic style tone, which I've never liked. So again, personal opinion. Next one, this one smells really good. It's a very easy random pull, but it's another one of those. It's not going to be in my top 10, even though for the price, it's really nice. This is Coach Green. This is going to be that kiwi, even though it kind of smells like a soapy apple with kiwi. This is really good. If you're looking for a nice random pull fragrance, Coach Green is that. This one is climbing up the charts, and if you gave me a few more months, it might be in the top 10. This is Givenchy Gentleman's Society. This, at first I thought it was basic, and now that basicness is kind of growing on me. I don't know. It's kind of like taking that Givenchy Gentleman DNA, removing that kind of like heavy iris and replacing it with like vanilla, almost like a vanillic Tonka, and it's a really nice smooth Palo Santo in the dry down too that provides a little bit of this creaminess. I actually really quite like that. But anyway, let's get into the top 10, starting with number 10. Number 10, again, this one, it didn't shock me, and it's still not my favorite in its own line, but compared to all the other fragrances I mentioned, this could be replaced with the Gentleman's Society soon, but I still do like to wear it, and my wife does enjoy it. This is by Ralph Lauren. It is Ralph's Club Elixir. Ralph's Club Elixir is not that sweet aromatic anymore. It's more leaning, because the sweet aromatics is what Ralph's Club is known for. It's like they take it together where that sweet aromatics almost kind of meets with citrus to create almost this like bubblegum fruity style accord, but it's like sweet and aromatic. They're always revolving around that clary sage lavender mixture. This one, it has this orris in it that gives it even more, it makes the line more masculine, less random pull, and more class. Luxury, stuff like that. I've never also been, there's like 3 things I don't like: rose, powdery vanillas, and iris. I don't like heavy iris. This is orris, so it's more of like a buttery orris, but it still has the powders in there. That's what throws me away from the fragrance for putting it higher up, is because, again, I'm not a big fan of orris and iris. Never have been, never will be. With that said, it's a really nice, good, classy, aromatic, warm fragrance that you can wear pretty much all year round. I would stay away from it in the high heat, but it's more of a classy night out scent. Ralph's Club Elixir is definitely good, and it is Elixir status. When I first got it, it was very weak. The parfum was kind of on par with it, but as it sat on my shelf for about 2 months, took about 2 months, now it is not quite like Le Male Elixir, Sauvage Elixir, stuff like that, but it is an above average projector, if not a little bit more than that for the first 3 to 4 hours. Then it comes down and it's an above average scent all the way through like hour 10. And then it kind of calms down. But yeah, that's number 10. Number 9. This one is one of the newest releases of the year. The only reason it's lower on my list, because it is one of the sleeper fragrances of the year, is because it is more of a personal enjoyment scent. You don't necessarily want to wear this in any day occasions. This is Boss Bottled Elixir. This is the furthest from the line that you could ever get. I thought Boss Bottled Parfum was getting as far as you can from the Boss Bottled line. This one has like 1% of the Boss Bottled DNA in there. And then it's really a heavy 90s incense shop mixed together with, it's frankincense, labdanum, pretty much anything that you can think of with like smoke, incense, put them all together. It's very incensey, and then it has this like ambery undertone, warm and spicy, little bit of an aromatic undertone, and then as you get to the dry down, you get a little bit of that sweetness coming in, but for no way, shape, or form is this going to be a sweet fragrance. It's just you get a little bit of this smooth and creamy sweetness after about a half hour, but this is a smoky fragrance. It's the most, I would say, if I had a list of the most unique releases of the year, this would be it. I mean, it's fantastic. But again, I can't put it any higher because it's like a situational wear. Like I would wear it if I was going downtown, like on the Strip District, walking around with my wife or something. But I don't know very many situations I would wear this in. For a designer fragrance, that is more like niche style. Not quality, even though it is higher quality for the Boss Bottle line. It's more niche style. Going into the next one, this is one, so I have two that are tied. So this is one of the ones that are tied. And so technically I have 12 fragrances in my top 10. This one, both are by Guerlain, so I put them together. This is L'Homme Ideal Platine Prive. And the other one is Abbey Rouge Prive. Abbey Rouge Prive, really cool, sexy bottle. I'm buying it in the spring. I was planning on buying it this summer, but News Parfums, the prices went up, so I was trying to wait until I found it like cheaper. But I'm going to get it in the spring. That is more of like a vintage barbershop smelling fragrance that has this kind of like lemon, soapy barbershop type fragrance. And then it kind of melds after about an hour into this. And I don't really like the vintage barbershop style fragrances, never have, but I do enjoy this one because after about an hour, it gets into almost like a slightly more modern, almost like vanilla and creamy woods mixed together with a little bit of that lemon and barbershop style underneath, but it gets more modern, very interesting. But the bottle one I have here, this is kind of like the new age L'Homme Ideal Cologne. This is L'Homme Ideal Platine Prive. Picture L'Homme Ideal Cologne. If you added almost this kind of like sweet tart fruitiness to it, I don't know what it's coming from, and the only thing I can think of is like rinded grapefruit, even though it doesn't smell like light blue, like the rinded grapefruit, stuff like that. Yeah, this one is fantastic. It's just citrus mixed together with that almond, and then this like candy-like, fruity-like accord. So it's like if you've ever tried L'Homme Ideal Cologne, it is that with this candy-like citrus. That is candy-like fruitiness. Very good fragrance. I very much enjoy it. It is my second favorite release as far as fresh fragrances are concerned of the year. But yeah, they are very, very good. And I did also want to mention, because I don't have a bottle right now, I gave it to my brother because I didn't need it. I do want to say, in my top 10, maybe it would be if I didn't try Light Blue Eau Intense, but in my runners-up for sure. I mean, as far as the scent, it would be in my top 10. It's just I don't have the bottle right now or anything to show you, but Light Blue Summer Vibes, it's kind of like Light Blue Eau Intense meets a Dusty Woods. That's what the fragrance is in a nutshell. It smells like Light Blue Eau Intense with a Dusty Woods. And Light Blue Eau Intense is one of the best summertime fragrances out there, so it would totally be in the top 10. It's just because of the redundancy issue there, I just didn't put it in there, and also I didn't have the bottle, so yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an idea. That would probably be in my top 5. With that said, we're moving into the next one. So we did 1, 2, 3, so this is number 6. Wait, 10, 9, 8. This is number 7. This one is hit or miss with people. You either really like it or you really don't. To me, it's like a mashup of the entire line. This is Valentino Born in Roma Intense. Uomo Born in Roma Intense. So Uomo Born in Roma Intense kind of takes that slight salty mineralic original and it brings it back from the original. And you get the vanilla / unique spices that you get from the Yellow Dream, and then you get this fruity-like accord that you get from Coral Fantasy, and you mash them all together into one, and that's this one. I think this one's the best in the line. I know people love Coral Fantasy. To me, Coral Fantasy is good. It's definitely a good fragrance. It's very simplistic. It's like a tobacco and red apple, and it doesn't really change very much. But this one, very beautiful fragrance. It's very mass appealing. Like, I've got compliments galore on this, and I know compliments aren't a huge thing, but I wore this to work, which you're not really shouldn't, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, it has a little bit of a clean freshness to it as well. And I had 6 people, like 5 or 6 people, tell me how they like this fragrance, what it was, stuff like that. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense, really nice. Lasts about 7 to 8 hours, and it's not really intense. It's kind of like on par with all the other ones. With that said, going into number 6. I just want to make sure. 6. Yeah, okay. Number 6, this one is a brand new release. And even though there are slight redundancy issues to this, I decided to put it here because it is a really good smelling fragrance. This is Rasasi Hawas Ice. Rasasi Hawas Ice. It's honestly, since I got it in, it still smells like Hawas, but like a slight bit fresher, and it has this, again, sweet tart opening. That's going to be a rolling theme this year. There's a sweet tartish like opening because the LHOMME Platine Prive has a sweet tart fruitiness. This has this sweet tart citrus, and then the one after this is going to have a sweet tart citrus as well. But it's a sweet tart citrusy like accord. You also, during the heat, you get more mint. You get this like cooling mintiness to it. It actually works both in the colder weather and the warmer weather, but I found that the best way to wear these now, if you have the original Hawas, wear the Hawas during the fall and winter, and wear this one during the spring and summer, and then that's pretty much what it is. Again, it's a Hawas. It still has that plum, but it's more of a warm plum and less watery, and then it still has that musk and the woodiness and stuff like that. It's still fruity, but it has this sweet tart like citrus to it that adds a slight bit of freshness to it. Very nice fragrance, very enjoyable, and it does last about 7 to 8 hours on my skin now. It's macerating, very macerating very quickly. It's very new, so it could be still macerating, who knows. And if you guys don't know, macerating usually happens before they send you the bottle. It's where the oils and the perfumer's alcohol, they're blending all together until they're completely blended. That usually happens before it gets to your house, and the maturing process is in the first 6 months to a year, even though it can mature for the life of the fragrance. Usually in the first 6 months of the year is the most important part of the maturing process. Anyway, going into number 5. Number 5, I still have a decan of this. It's big decan. It's what I got when I first got it, and I really like this. So if people want to hate on it, they can. It's like a mix of YSL Le Parfum meets La Nuit de l'Homme meets a candied-like sweet tart citrus in the opening. This is YSL Myself. I almost said YSL Y Myself. YSL Myself. I don't know why they made a new line out of it. It looks like the YSL Y bottle's just skinnier. This could easily have been in the YSL Y line. It smells a lot like Y Live as well, which is kind of like a fruitier version of the Y line. YSL Myself, again, it starts out with this like sweet tart like citrus. It really smells like sweet tarts. Mix that together as you get further in with a little bit of this tonka bean that you get from that YSL Le Parfum. You also get a little bit of warm and spiciness from the cardamom, which brings in a little bit of the LNDL DNA. It's what it is. It's LNDL meets YSL Le Parfum meets candied sweet tart citrus. Very good fragrance. It's fresh. It's clean. It even has this like linen-like texture to the background, smell to it. Fresh, clean linens mixed together with all of that, which all of those really have it. It's kind of like built into those fresh aromatic type fragrances. But yeah, YSL Myself, very beautiful, and it is super mass appealing. Just like out of this entire list, I would say the two most mass appealing all year round scents are the Valentino and this one. They're both super mass appealing all year round scents. Now we're going to get to fall and winter. This is another one that tied. I can't decide because both of them are very similar as far as what they're trying to do. One is chocolate and aromatics, while one is chocolate and amber. So this is number 4. Yeah, number 4 is Bad Boy Extreme by Carolina Herrera. This one's really growing on me. It just depends on which one that you want. This one or Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Royal. I need to get through my decant before I actually get the bottle. But 1 Million Royal, it is the 1 million DNA, that kind of ambery sweet DNA mixed together with a load of cacao pod. And this is cacao pod mixed together with kind of like a sweeter version of the original Bad Boy, which I usually don't like, but the cacao in this is more like a milk chocolate hot cocoa. It's a slight powdery, just like you get in 1 Million Royal. They're very, very similar style chocolate. It's the, what do you want? Do you want the ambery sweet back tone? Do you want more chocolate, which is what you get in the 1 million? Or do you want a nice blend that has an aromatic and spicy back tone to it, which some people don't like the aromatics from the Bad Boy line. I usually don't, but I like it in this one. So number 4 is both a tie between 1 Million Royal and Bad Boy Extreme. I think they're very nice. Getting to the Freshie, the last Freshie on the list. This is my favorite Freshie of the year. This is going to be the, I love the one from last year. It was my favorite Freshie of last year, so that killed it 2 years in a row. This is going to be like an orangeade with a sharp turmeric, which is kind of like a citrus. This is Lacoste Blanc Intense. Oh, Intense. Yeah, it is. It smells like a sharp orangeade with a little bit of a spicy aromatic tone, and then as you get to the dry down, then orange kind of goes into the background and you get more of this kind of woodiness to it. It still has this sparkling effervescence. It's the only thing that it brought in from the last year's one, but this is more of kind of like down your line of Dior Homme, Cologne and stuff like that, except for this is using orange and turmeric instead of like pink pepper and lemon, or in YSL Yo Fresh it has the ginger and juniper. This one is using orange and turmeric. So if you want an orangeade that has some spice and a little bit of a kick to it, that's what this one is. Very nice, and it lasts 7 to 8 hours. Very good, Lacoste Blanc Eau Intense. Last two. So which one do you think took my favorite spot? Well, let's say number 2 was number 1 early in the year, so that's kind of giving it away. Boss the Scent Magnetic. Boss the Scent Magnetic. We're getting far into the video, so I'm going to end it just after. I'm going to do these really quickly. Boss the Scent Magnetic. It is a very simplistic fragrance while also being very unique. It has that maninka fruit that you get from the line, but not as heavy as what you get with the rest of them. This one is really dominated by this black vanilla husk that comes off like a darker, richer vanilla, mixed together with this honey-like, cereal-like Bran Absolute, which it's just almost very like a dry honey-like cereal mixed together with black vanilla husk. You also do get slight little like lavender and stuff, vanilla and stuff, lavender and tonka in the background, and a slight bit of woods, but for the most part it's dominated by those 3 notes, so I understood why they did a 3-note breakdown. Some lines do a 3-note breakdown, it doesn't make sense. This one does, just like Most Wanted. So going to the last one, which one won? Well, I actually heard on a live stream someone said this was their worst release of the year. I was like, you're lying. You're totally lying, because this is a follow-up to another one that was in the line, and that one was my favorite from the line, and this is just kind of like a more mature version of it. This is Viktor and Rolf's Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum. So I love the original Spicebomb Infrared. I still like that maybe a tad bit more than this. That one is a little bit more youthful than this one, but I love both of them. This one I find I like more in the fall, while that one I like more in the winter. But I like both of them. Very good. This one, it removes the tobacco, but this one is going to still be cinnamon dominated. When you first spray it on, you get a nice rush of fruits and red pepper, and then it turns into this kind of like cinnamon and sweetness bomb that you still get from the original, just not as sweet without the tobacco. and then you just kind of had this woodiness that comes in with the cinnamon. And as you get to the further dry down, you have a slight bit of sweetness mixed together with that woods and cinnamon, and almost a slight bit of resins. It's a really freaking good fragrance. That's all I have to say. It's just really good. It's the Spicebomb Infrared Eau de Parfum, my favorite release of the year. Let me know what you guys think about those releases. Again, this year wasn't, again, Spicebomb Infrared, I still like a slight bit better than this, but I love this. So it's just that they don't compare to the other years as far as top fives, but it is what it is. But let me know which ones are your favorites. And again, I'll be back with another video. Thank you for sticking through. Peace.